up, guys? Today on Geek Goonz, this is episode 11.
Episode 11.
And this is Twilight Night, and with me is...
Reese. BigPaPaReese, as they know me. And episode 11, we got some things to discuss. We have some things to talk about this episode, I think, right?
Where do you want to start? Do you want to start with the news, or do you want to start with, like, the topics? Like, you know...
We can start with, I guess more so the draw of this episode will basically be the kind of like the things that have happened currently. Fuck it, let's start off with something where we left off last time, with upcoming, right? So we finally got some footage of Modern Warfare 2's gameplay. So we know what that looks like. I don't know if you got the chance to check it out, but some of the multiplayer gameplay. And while I like Treyarch's better, this looked like Modern Warfare 3 for me. And that made me excited. The look of it, the feel of it, the guy who I watched on YouTube, I forgot his name, so shout out to that guy. But
shit, not really, because you don't know his name.
Yeah, I don't know his name. But they showcased some skill streaks. Or kill streaks. I don't know what the fuck they are in this Call of Duty. But we have Juggernaut being one of the last kill streaks. I don't know how you felt about Juggernaut being in the games.
I wasn't really the biggest fan of it. It was just like way OP and shit. Like,
yeah, so they have that back. They also have like a stealth bomber. That was pretty cool. I remember that one. They have a new thing that I was actually like reading in depth about on Modern Warfare 2, called the whatever the fuck it's called. It's called something where it's like it's how you create the gun setup now. It's a little different. So now if you unlock certain attachments from one gun, you unlock it for the entire class. So let's say if you have a assault rifle and you use this gun, you unlock the foregrip. Then all of the guns within that class now have the foregrip. Like, you don't have to unlock certain attachments for each gun anymore. It's like you unlock it once, and that's good for the rest of the class. Which is, I think, is pretty cool. Cuts down the time you have to like try to level up your guns and shit.
Well, you mean the weapon category?
Yeah. What did I say?
Class.
Yeah, the weapon category. So if it's assault rifles, then if you have unlocked foregrip for one assault rifle, you've unlocked it for all assault rifles. So
how are they categorizing secondaries in this match? Like, cause
that I'm not sure.
Because I remember Black Ops 1, Cold War.
Yeah.
They just got like all the secondaries just piled together, and it's not really like organized like how they are with the primaries.
I would like to see. I think people have gotten so accustomed to shotguns being a secondary at this point, so I don't see them straying away from that. But different Call of Duty made by different people, so we may actually get that again. Like, I want to see pistols.
I remember it was a primary.
But that's a perk usually where you can like set a primary as your.
I hope they don't bring back the thing that they had in Modern Warfare 3 where it was like 3 different, where it was like the weapon proficiencies, because it just added a more layer of complexity to the weapon that it really did not need.
Yeah, I don't like that either. I don't think that they'll do that shit, but fucking who knows. I think what I have seen so far that I do like is just that you don't have to level up every gun to get level up every gun to get every attachment anymore. Like, we just kind of made it more streamlined. That's a good idea. So good for them for thinking forward on that one. Kill streaks and shit, I'm gonna be honest with you, nothing popped out at me. Maps didn't really pop out at me.
Is at least a Predator missile in that bitch?
A Predator missile should be. A Predator missile is like a fucking... That's like customary. That should be a standard in fucking Call of Duty.
You won't even ask it. It's like it's a UAV in there, and you don't even ask it.
Yeah, you don't even ask that shit. So a Predator missile should be in there. But nothing that stood out to me like for certain. And honestly, I think it's just one of those times where one of those games at this point that I just might have to get my hands on to really feel. Also, the beta is out today.
Yeah, I saw that. Like, cause I know originally the beta was for the people who pre-ordered it, and now we're getting like the sloppy seconds beta, and it's interesting. I mean, I'm down. By the way, I'm down to play that tonight.
I'm down to play it. Is it open?
Yes, like it opened up for everyone today. Like originally, I think
Oh,
Friday you got access to the beta early if you pre-ordered it.
Okay.
Which I was like,
so I don't know what that means. Like, I don't know what I have to download in order to get that shit.
I'm gonna put this shit on my PS. I'm gonna put this shit on my PC because it's crossplay. Remember?
Yeah, might as well. Fuck it. But yeah, that's pretty exciting. So looking forward to more Modern Warfare 2. See what they have to offer. It's just nothing popped out at me initially. But yeah, I figured we might as well open with that.
And what was it was another piece of news that you had that you.
So the big thing was what we got today. Grand Theft Auto leaks. Got Grand Theft Auto 6 leaks.
Which was just alpha. It wasn't really anything in particular. Like anything special.
Yeah, it's anything. It's not that it was necessarily anything special. I think the main thing with this is,
they're actually working on the fucking game.
Yeah, they're actually working on the game. I think it's just more important that it's like, oh shit, this leaked. Like, this actually came out, right? Like, this is something that we don't usually see in Rockstar's, like, they don't usually suffer from the leaks, right? They don't usually suffer from the oh my god, this Grand Theft Auto might be happening, it might be this, right? Like, this is the first time we're actually getting a moment where it's like, fuck, this game is actually coming out. And they usually release in decades time, right? So it's like one drops, then the next decade another drops. But in this instance, it's like, holy shit, like, your game just leaked and this has never happened. I think it might be one of the biggest leaks in video game history. I think one of them. I mean, think about it. How many times has Grand Theft Auto ever leaked?
No. It's just...
Think about it. This is a game that takes decades to drop.
I'm saying that it's just... Yeah, like...
It's a bold take.
Yeah. I think definitely you would probably have to talk about a bunch of... You would have to explore what famous leaks have happened. Because I know that NVIDIA data mine was pretty big.
That was big, but it wasn't one specific game.
It was a lot. It was a lot of different games. That also makes it kind of big. Games. It was like a lot of games. And it's like every...
I think when I say in history, I think I mean more of like a specific thing, right? Like, because what we got from Grand Theft Auto is more like some like developmental shit, right? Like, they're learning how to do the crouching and they're learning how to open a door. Like, just kind of like some basic elements of the game and movements. But it's just the fact that we got that is kind of weird. And even the hacker, I think I read something today that said the hacker is even talking about, like, unless Rockstar does such and such, we'll leak more. And I was like, fuck.
Well, like, what is, like, I mean,
what is more? I don't know.
I would have to see other leaks, like, before I'd be like, it's the best one, it's the biggest one in history. Like, I would have to look.
You would have to like research other leaks to kind of go through it. Yeah. I think just saying that. I think what I mean by that is just like, I can't think of one when Grand Theft Auto ever leaked, and I can't think of a game that's as massive as Grand Theft Auto, right? Because like, this game is huge. Like, they don't come out with them but decades at a time. You know what I mean? Like, so they usually keep.
They used to come out with them when it was pretty close together before they started looking.
But now it's like shit's going so huge. Like, that at this point they have to take that time.
And you remember what we said when like games were getting so big budget wise.
And also on to the point of even leaks. Like, I don't even like leaks, right? Like, even though I pay attention to them and I'm a part of the, like, I'll be the person to like look at them and research them a little bit. I've never liked leaks for the fact of like, people work hard for this shit, man. Like, they work hard for this game. A lot of people worked hard to put this shit together after all this time. Like, I like a finished product. That goes with music, video games, TV shows, anything. Like, I prefer for people to just release their shit the way they want it released. But world of the internet, like, people are gonna leak this shit.
I don't disagree with that. Like, like, I agree with that part as well. Yeah. Another part that about leaks I really don't like is that it hurts the content in terms of like,
people get to judge it before
it's actually finished.
And then like the people
that's
who
what kind of happened with Last of Us 2. Because I I think if like a lot of the story elements would have never got leaked, people would have got in their hands, start playing the story, would have got into it. They would have.
Yeah,
it
gives more space for people to judge it.
Yeah,
and that also leaves the people that are creating the game in a kind of a weird space to say, hey, I see now people have my product where in its unreleased version, and now they can.
Out of context.
Yeah, and now they can judge it, and now that kind of alters maybe the person who's creating the game, how they're going to do something. Like maybe they think they want to change something up, right? And I guess leaks can come. Well, this wasn't even a leak, but the trailer of the Sonic thing. You remember when that happened? Like how that got pushed out, and then everybody was like, "Oh my God, change that shit! Change that shit!" Yeah. That wasn't necessarily a leak, but that can be the only closest thing I can think of where maybe something good has happened from.
Well, it's just like I've seen it where developers just show a game too early, like, and so much changed from when they initially showed it to when they actually get close to the release date, and it's essentially not the same game. If you, I don't know if you ever heard the game. Well, best example is Final Fantasy Versus 13. That like they released trailers for it years before they were ready for it to release, and then they switched over to Final Fantasy 15, and there was so much content and things that changed from the game that it was a totally different game. Yeah, and it wasn't what people wanted. Like I mean, honestly, Final Fantasy 15 is probably one of the biggest disappointments in Final Fantasy. I would have to say, even outside of like people's dislike for 13, like, because like essentially like when Final Fantasy 15 came out, there were certain elements of the game that you had to see a movie to understand certain things before going into the game, and then they tried to release character arcs as DLC that were significant parts of the story. Like it was this part in the story where one of the characters walked away, like left for a little decent amount, and he came back and he had a scar on him, and you're like, yo, what's happened? No mention of it in the story, nothing. DLC, you got to pay to find out. And it's
like I hate when shit gets muddy like that, right? Like, I know it happens a lot in music when like artists would have something leak, and then it's like people would judge the music before it was ever supposed to be put out, and it's like that is unfair, and it fans and people that leak shit, I don't think you understand like how much of a disservice you're doing to yourself by by even participating in that, right? Like, and though I participate in like reading up on leaks and shit, like I don't condone it at all in any sense. Like I just don't. Like I think that it's in the long run it does us more harm than good as people that are in the entertainment, audience essentially. But yeah, GTA 6. So we know that's confirmed now. That somebody leaked that shit.
They've been confirmed that they were working on it.
I mean, they confirmed they were working on it. I'll tell you what would have been insane, and which would be a much bigger leak if it were to happen. Elder Scrolls 6. If Elder Scrolls 6 got leaked, that shit would probably crush the internet a little bit. Yeah. Like the gaming world would be like, what the fuck? Because we don't even have confirmation that they're like working on it.
They did.
Did
they? Yeah, they did that E3 a while back.
Oh well, yeah. I remember that.
And they were saying they're not it's like releasing Elder Scrolls 6. I want to say it was either until the new Fallout game they were making were done, or the new Grand Theft Auto. It was one of the two, and I was like, and people was like, rest in peace.
Yeah, and see, that's why I think it will be a much bigger leak if that would happen. And I don't want it to happen because it'll be like, fuck, we haven't gotten a piece of this, right? Like we haven't even gotten the world it'll be in, what it'll look like, what we like. We don't know anything about Elder Scrolls 6.
Oblivion to me was so much better than
Skyrim.
Yeah.
Skyrim was like,
it was like
I can forever go in Skyrim.
Like that shit. Like there were definitely mechanic change, like improvements going from Skyrim to Oblivion, but as far as like the environment, the like combat, like it was just, to me, the Oblivion was a better game.
That's one of those things that I can't really argue.
Did you play a lot of Oblivion?
That's what I was gonna say. I can't really argue it because I didn't play it, right? Like more of my love came from Skyrim, and and that's more than a decade old now at this point. So if you're talking Oblivion, you gotta be talking maybe 15 years, maybe.
Yeah, and it was crazy because like I played Oblivion. before, like a little after I got exposed to Skyrim, and I was like, it's all right. And I played Oblivion, and I just like almost not dived into it. I remember it was this guy, like I went into this portal in Oblivion, hit this like guy that was like a whole nother world, and I hit him, and he was like, enjoy the view. And because they know like you just going around fucking with people, so I hit him, and I'm like, okay, enjoy the view. Loading screen comes on. It loads back. I'm falling from the sky, and I'm like, "Yo, that's what he meant." And died. I'm like,
that's kind of like what it was like getting hit by a fucking giant on Skyrim. You just go flying into the fucking air. But yeah, hopefully Elder Scrolls never leaks. Hopefully GTA 6 can kind of not have this affect the overall end product of the game. I will point out some things I noticed from it is it looks like it's going to be in Vice City. So
yeah, people are excited about that. It's like they're bringing back the internals of like places too. That wasn't.
That's pretty cool. They needed to put it back in Vice City, so I'm glad that they're bringing it back there. That's probably my main takeaway. Just make the soundtrack fucking good.
I like Vice City better. Like that's my
Vice City is probably the best. Vice City is probably the best, which is why I think this leak is as big as it is. Is like, fuck, people have been waiting for this whole like Tommy Vercetti
and it also confirmed some other some information leaks that it was like it was gonna have the ability to play as a girl main character.
Yeah. They even showed some of that inside the leaks or whatever. And that type of shit is just like, that's cool. Like obviously that's awesome, right? Like that we get to switch it up in that way. But at least they didn't leak, at least right now, they didn't leak anything pertaining to story, even though I don't really play Grand Theft Auto for story. And
that's why I never buy Grand Theft Auto.
I buy it just because it's one of those, like, I don't often buy it. I might have gotten it fucking a decade ago if I bought it. But I don't really buy Grand Theft Auto. It's just kind of like one of those things that is... It's one of the gaming kings, you know what I mean? Like, it sits on a gaming throne, and it's up there. Like, it'll be up there, probably for the end of time. It's just one of those ones you can go in and not have a purpose and just have fucking fun in it. Like, you just do whatever you want, essentially. And that's one of the... It's either probably the first game of its kind or the one that does it the best in terms of just, I can turn this on and do whatever.
That's fair.
Yeah.
So, speaking of games, like, I guess releasing and coming out.
Yeah.
Did you see?
This is not upcoming. This is not the last episode.
So did you see that recent PlayStation State of Play where they were showing?
Yeah.
I personally, it was like outside of Tekken, and it was one other game like
Tekken 8
and God of War. Yeah, Tekken and God of War, which I was already like, this game is gonna be like. The other games were pretty okay.
So Hogwarts.
Yeah, I saw Hogwarts. You know how I feel about Hogwarts.
Yeah, but how did you feel about it?
I was just like, okay. Like, you know, I already knew the game was coming out. Like they.
Yo, wait, hold on, no. We gotta focus some more on this. We're back at this.
I mean, it looks good, but you know, like I'm not gonna get it. You know why I'm not gonna get it? We had this whole conversation.
No, I know why. Repeat it. Fuck it. Just for shits and giggles. Fuck it.
Doing the initial releases of Harry Potter of the books and movies, they did not care. They have black people play.
All right, so is this not a moment to move forward?
I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say it isn't. I'm just saying, like, I've even watched Harry Potter before. It's just like,
hey, quick question. How many black characters does Kingdom Hearts have?
They have couple. They're like very like dark skinned. Technically though, in Kingdom Hearts, they're not white. They're not white. They're Japanese.
Those people are fucking white.
They're very like if you look at the CGI cutscenes.
Well, that's very whitewashed Japanese.
No, I'm saying like I'm talking about that's
very whitewashed.
Like if you look at the CGI, not the ones that are rendered in engine, but the pre-rendered cutscenes, like they.
Oh,
like,
so they're Japanese in the cutscenes, but in the game they're white.
It's just so detailed. That's like they're not, bro. They're Japanese. Like they're speak Japanese,
but yeah, Hogwarts Legacy that looked good through the through State of Play. Tekken looked good through State of Play. What else stood out for you? You say God of War too.
Yeah, I mean, like a Dragon looked pretty good. It's made by the same series as Yakuza. It's like the games that they showed, like it was Japanese studios. They look good, but it wasn't like any specific game that was just like, it wasn't like when you saw the Tekken trailer, you was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
When you saw that Ragnarok trailer, you was like, holy shit.
Yeah,
like the other ones, you like, all right, this is all right.
Did that change your mind about Ragnarok at all?
I mean, no, I'm like the
You
game.
just gonna watch it or? Just
I'm probably not gonna play it. But one thing I was really thinking about Ragnarok, I was like, bro, it sucks that this game is on the rails.
What do you mean?
Like, God of War is like, it's not like linear, but it's like linear.
Yeah.
Like if that game was like a open world RPG with the same graphics, mechanics, like PlayStation could really that shit would be fucking wild.
That shit
like,
would go insane.
Like,
actually, take note from that PlayStation. That's a good idea. Because that shit would really go crazy, right?
Like they really need to make like the way that they tell stories. Like if you had an open world RPG where you do quests and PlayStation made it, bro, I would be on that shit.
I feel you, because that shit actually would probably be really cool. It is fairly linear. You got a guy just running around fucking murdering gods and shit.
Like they have they did.
But I like how they switched it up though. How they've been able to keep it good. Yeah. But like, after all this time, because you would think to yourself, right? Like after like the Greek mythology, they would have just been done. At any point, you think Kratos fights Jesus?
I mean, I'm be honest.
Can't be above that, right?
I mean, like, I'm be honest. If it's not the Black Jesus, then I'm not gonna be mad.
But I mean, shit, at any point, do you think that Kratos takes on Christianity? And if he does, is there really an issue? Like, can people really pose an issue with Kratos?
The only way that they'll be all right is that he got to come at both Satan and...
Yeah, I'm saying go for it, whatever. Like, go for it fully. But at some point, does Kratos take on Christianity? Like, they don't have the nuts for it. That's the real challenge right there.
I don't think like Kratos is obviously aging. Like I don't think he's gonna live long enough to get to that point. Personally,
nah, man, that's bullshit. I feel like that's a cop out.
I think the way that they're going with his son, like I think his son is gonna try to take over because.
So his son fights Jesus.
Yeah.
All right, I'm not mad at it. I just want them to really go for it, right? Don't just take on Greek mythology and Norse mythology. Let's go full fledged here. Let's go all out with it.
Have you been keeping an eye on the other aspects of Sony though?
What other aspects?
What they're doing, that they're bringing more of their games to PC. Uncharted collection finally has a release date. God of War is already out on there.
Yep.
It's very interesting. Like I'm very.
I think that's smart of them, especially the way that Xbox is kind of cornering the market. Like they're like that whole thing. Yeah, like that whole thing that Microsoft did with Call of Duty and everything, like, and that whole back and forth that they were having.
Gave them like what 3 years past.
Yeah, and that's not fair. And I think PlayStation has to make kind of they have to make a chess move, right? They have to say to themselves, all right, how do I expand? How do I compete with this?
One thing that PlayStation, like even when they bought studios, like when they bought Bungie, they made it a thing because they was like, we don't want to take experiences away from gamers. So it was like pre-existing stuff. We're not touching it. Like if you got a franchise that's already multi-platform, like we're not gonna change that. Right. And I think that's the stance that Sony is mostly taking on it. Like, do you know how much those servers or lobbies are gonna be, like how ass are gonna be, like if like Microsoft has Call of Duty and you have the entire like PlayStation community not playing, like most of PlayStation like accounted for majority of like Call of Duty players. Like they are a significant number of the people that play Call of Duty, and you're like, all right, we're just gonna take out the PlayStation players. Like, bro, your server's gonna be kind of whack, bro.
Right. I think that's kind of like alongside like friends telling me like, yo, bro, get on PC. We want you on PC and shit. I think I can eventually see myself moving over there to more PC, right? You try to convince me. A couple other people I know try to convince me. My brother try to convince me. I don't know, man. I want to go to PC, and they're kind of making more of the play to make PC gaming more appealing to me. But I don't know yet. I'm not fully committed.
I know one thing I love is that like I get to beat game. One thing I love though about consoles is that I can beat a game and sell it. Like sell it. Like, I don't play this anymore. Sell it. Like imagine we bought Dying Light on PC. Dying Light 2. Like,
Yeah.
like,
Dying Light 1.
Yeah, we love
Perfecto. Love you.
Which I'm excited for Dead Island too. As a matter of fact, I got the Dead Island collection. Like I bought it on PlayStation because I was like, yo, I'm beating this shit. Like fuck it.
This guy's in love with Dead Island now. It's weird.
Like Dead Island 2. Like, have you seen the trailer? You still haven't seen the trailer, I bet.
What'd you say?
Have you seen the trailer of Dead Island 2?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, of course.
I haven't. No, I haven't. I'll watch it. You sent it to me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. I'll watch it. Next episode, I'll be on
Actually, you want to watch it right after here when we're done recording?
Yeah.
It's like 2-3 minutes.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll watch it. Yeah. So, state of play. Anything else popped out at you?
Well,
State of play?
that was it. Like, it was just no, like the rest of the games, it looked nice, but it was nothing. I'm going to get this. Like, I'm definitely going to.
Okay, fair enough. I'm excited to see what PlayStation has to offer. Hopefully they keep it up, right? Hopefully they can actually start making more power plays. Cause
I'm really pissed off at Naughty Dog, honestly.
Why?
Because they're not doing shit with Jack and Dexter. And they originally, what they were gonna, when the only development that they had for Jack and Dexter was they originally was gonna work on Jack and Dexter 4, but then they were like, hey, let's reboot it, and they tried to make it more realistic or whatever, and they just saw it wasn't, they weren't able to keep the charm of the characters. And it's like, bro, you don't have to make it realistic. Like, it's okay for you to have Uncharted and Last of Us.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That's more of their thing right now. And this is where I think it falls into like a you got the people inside the office telling you, hey, these are the numbers, and these numbers are saying that our biggest things are Last of Us and Uncharted, which are phenomenal games, right? Games that I love, but I feel like you may be missing the essence of like, hey, we can touch multiple fields or multiple genres and areas. I just don't think that they may feel that it's profitable. You know?
Look at Insomniac. Insomniac made Spider-Man, right?
Mm-hmm.
They are making Wolverine. They're making Spider-Man 2. They're making Miles Morales. And guess what they released at the initial console release of the PlayStation 5? Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart.
But those kind of all feel like they're in the same vein to some degree.
Not like, bro, Ratchet and Clank is like, it's like a Pixar movie, whereas Ratchet, like Spider-Man is like that game is not an MCU game. It's like it's Spider-Man. Like, it's like Spider-Man's like charismatic self with the same screwed upness and messed up life that he's had. And like it plays out in the game, and it's just like and it's a very photorealistic, it's more mature than Ratchet and Clank. And I'm not saying by the way, I'm not crapping on Ratchet and Clank. I got a platinum on it. It's just like Ratchet and Clank is very playful. It has some serious tones too, like 13, 14, maybe 15.
Talking shit.
Might be 16.
Talking shit. I just wanted to get that.
There's people out there with 200. So I believe.
Yeah, they had a guy on my old Tyler 17 account. That nigga had like shit. I think he had like 200 platinums.
Yeah,
so
that
was a different time.
But it's just, I don't know, like, they definitely can do the same thing. And I just feel like that excuse was like very poor. I'm like, now if they don't have the same people that made the original game, I can kind of get that. But if you got the same assets, like, get these people, throw them in there, have them play the game, a couple of the games or whatever, have them watch a couple of Disney movies or something. Like, bro, get these people like ready. Like,
you want to kind of like say, hey, we can do this shit. Like, we don't have to just stick with what has obviously been good. We can go back to what we started or what we did before.
Like, don't just drop your franchise. Like, granted, they're not pumping out Ratchet and Clank stuff they used to, but at least they're like, hey, we still own this franchise. We still love them.
I mean, maybe we aren't giving credence to the idea that maybe this is just the evolution of what they've created, right? Like, what if they want to build themselves as this company that can make games that merges over into movies and actually does it well, right? Like, we see a lot of video game movies or movies that have come from video games that haven't performed well. And I haven't seen it, but I've heard reviews from it. Uncharted, the movie, heard that went well. Then we have Last of Us, the show, coming out, which they got a pretty stellar cast for it. I wasn't too thrilled about Pedro Pascal playing Joel just because of the look, but he's still a phenomenal actor, and I feel like they may just be kind of moving over into that realm. And I mean, shit, you can still make a Ratchet and Clank TV show or movie. That shit might still be hard.
I think they actually did a short that was pretty good. It was very funny. Like, I'm talking about had the charm of the show and everything. It's like, bro, like, you guys can still do this. I don't know. Maybe that's just.
I just think that maybe we're looking at the
semantics.
Nah, maybe we're looking at the kid who was the teenager who was fun and goofy, just now became an adult and now he's more serious. You know what I mean? Like, that's what we could be watching.
But, you know, every time the serious teenager is going to make a fucking dick joke. I mean, every time the adult is going to make a dick joke or make a joke.
And I 100% agree. I think that they should be able to touch multiple fields and multiple areas just because it's like, all right, man, like, if people love that initially, like, give that to the people who loved it, you know? Like, fuck that.
I think Uncharted was the perfect middle ground.
Uncharted was fucking phenomenal.
I think, like, honestly, compared to Lost Legacy, 4 compared to Lost Legacy, it's like not ass, but it's like okay. Like, Uncharted 4 is okay. Man. Like, it was some story.
I remember you had the story.
Yeah, but like Lost Legacy.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. And it's crazy because it's like a 6-8 hour game, but it's like it's good. Like, it's like like general consensus outside of the length, like which is not it's only like $20 or $30.
Yeah.
But it's like general consensus, like, bro, this Lost Legacy is like
shit holds up.
Yeah, like, it's like really good.
Right, okay. I'm not mad at that. I do want to touch on Last of Us Part 1. I wish I would fucking got the game. I don't have it yet.
But now go ahead, pay $70.
That's the part that's fucking killing me. I'm like, do I want... Like, I mean, granted, it'll be a brand new game for me. I just don't know if I want to...
Pay it?
I just don't know if I want to do it just yet. Like, sure, I want to, and I might feel this way the closer Overwatch 2 comes out, right? Also, did you hear about Overwatch 2? That they're shutting down Overwatch 1?
When they're shutting down the servers?
They're shutting down that shit like October 2nd. This is the last day. And Overwatch 2 comes out October 4th.
Okay, that's all I need to know. So basically, I need to sell Overwatch 1 before October 2nd. I
mean, shit. Who's going to buy that shit?
Motherfuckers on the internet that don't know about the servers being shut down. I don't know shit.
You a piece of shit. Yo, that's a real piece of shit move.
I mean, like,
tell somebody, yo, look, fuck it, I'll cut you a deal. I'll sell you this motherfucker for $30. Nah. That's yours. Nah, it's all you, brother.
I'm selling this shit for like $10 to $15.
$10 to $15. That's all you, brother. Like, I'm not gonna tell you shit. Like, that's all yours. Then when they hit you back, yo, why this motherfucker not playing?
I gotta sell it on September 20th, 22nd.
Yeah.
It was like, all right, around that time, sell it. They buy it. They get it. They play
it.
They
didn't have the enjoyment with
this
shit.
Be like, the servers down. Be like, hey, the game worked. It's not my fault. The servers down.
Like, yo, look. I don't know what to tell you. That motherfucker just cut off. I didn't know shit about it.
Like, and then, like, you got to build your account and carry over the stuff. Like, I don't know what to tell you, cuz.
That's fucked up. It's smart, but it's fucked up at the same time. Because it's like, bro, that's yours.
As a matter of fact, and, you know, I'm in the description. I'm like, the servers will cut off for October. I'm putting in the description.
Just put a quick little.
And at that point, it's like eBay. They try to come to eBay.
Put that shit in super small font.
Nah, they ain't gonna do it like that. I'm just gonna be the same size. Like, yo, it's in the description. eBay gonna be like, the game work. They gonna be like, game work is in the description.
More onto that, right? Like, even I think it was kind of fucked up that they were shutting down the servers. They said they were shutting them down to like have obvious space for Overwatch 2 servers. Few things. We know Overwatch 2 servers are going to play like fucking shit when they first drop. Damn near.
Nah, them niggas been in beta for like what, 5, 6 months?
They don't have my confidence. Like I'm not like super confident in them.
Ooh,
you know, just
you know what? It's pointless to even buy the beta, to buy like the buy. I don't know, whatever fucking content for Overwatch 2, because like you're literally gonna play it in like 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'm
not spending. I never was, but I'm definitely not spending that $40. Like,
no,
they're like, bro, that's $40, bro. I can buy that. They can go towards a new game and shit. Games
I'm not doing any of that. And also, even on Overwatch, like, I know everything transfers over. So hopefully we'll have our loot and shit, you know, loot boxes and stuff like that. Bro, I have some winter loot boxes that I never opened. I'll throw shits transfer over.
This is about to turn into a Red Table Talk, by the way.
How the fuck would this turn into a red table talk?
Because I found out why I am not excited for Overwatch 2. My biggest excitement, and I'm sorry, baby.
All right.
Oh, you play Zarya.
All right.
And sometimes I be tanking and I be wanting to play other tanks.
Well, you won't tank.
Exactly. So now you're gonna be always tanking. I'm be like, bro, I want to sort of play.
I mean, I don't mind switching it up because I want to get back to like some of my mains, right? Like some of my
soldier.
DPS mains, my soldiers.
Reaper.
The reason I stopped playing soldier, is because when I used to play soldier, when I started playing soldier on PS5, that DualShock 5, for some reason, it felt a lot different from the DualShock 4. And it started throwing off my. I might have to just turn something off.
Do you not have a DualShock 4 controller? Well, you won't be able to use it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I might be able to turn off something now that I think about it on the DualShock 5 to kind of give me more of a kind of take off some of the rumbles. Which I think that was my main issue with the DualShock 5 is when I would play soldier, it wasn't.
Honestly, I like the feel of the. Well, it's dual sense, so it's not even DualShock 5. I like the PS4 controller feel of it better than the 5 because the 5 is a little bit thicker than the 4. And to me, the 4 was like it fits in my hand perfectly. It was like the pinnacle for me. It was like grab it.
Oh, you say that so confidently, sir. You have an Xbox controller, which the DualSense kind of mimics the
and I don't.
size of it.
I mean, the only reason I got Xbox controller is just because some games on PC don't recognize the PlayStation controller. Piece of shit games. But and so I have to put that on to be able to play it. And it's like, bro.
It's fair enough. I think that I was looking up some gameplay, watching Zarya gameplay yesterday or the day before yesterday because I was preparing for Overwatch 2. I don't know how I feel, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. Overwatch, my expectations are probably at about a 1. So anything they do, we can definitely see if they do it well, and we just have to wait and fucking see. But I think it was important to note that they will be shutting down the servers for Overwatch 1. So,
and then if you're listening to this, it's going to be on eBay for about $15.
Geek Goonz signed.
Me and BigPaPaReese will
sign the shit out of it. Make that shit skyrocket, you know? Yeah. Fuck it. Yeah, I'm actually with that. I'll sign the shit too. We'll up the price of it.
I'm gonna put it on. I'm putting on a hard like $15, like signed by Geek Goonz podcast.
Signed by the Geek Goonz podcast, and that means shit to you all until we actually become something.
But think about it. You might be on eBay. They'd be like, "What the fuck is Geek Goonz podcast?" They look it up, and they're just gonna be like, "Ugh."
Yeah.
So.
What else dropped? Or what else like was interesting news that we've come up with?
I mean, that's it for the news. But one thing that I'm sort of like feeling. Mm-hmm. And I may be the only one, but I think everyone else is just now starting to feel it. But like people, let's put it like this: people who don't play video games are just now starting to feel it. But people who play video games and watch movies are starting to feel it. I sort of get like I'm starting to get a feel. I've been getting this superhero fatigue. Like everywhere I look is like cape or something like and it's like you guys can't just make interesting stories anymore where people like it's just like and like I like one of my more favorite games is you ever heard of Infamous? I'm pretty sure you heard of Infamous. Of course. And it's like
the second one was in like New Orleans or something.
Yeah. And I was like I get like I want a new Infamous game, but they were just like part of the reason that they said that they don't have anything planned was that the market for that type of content seems a bit saturated right now, and I was like, damn, I might not ever get an Infamous game, and it's like everyone is trying to jump on this superhero hype train, and it's like, bro, and it takes the focus away from like these movies, these Inceptions, these like Bullet Trains. Have you seen Bullet Train?
No, I haven't seen it.
It's a really good movie. Yeah, it's like these movies that aren't like I wouldn't say flagship or mainstream, but just aren't like part of these big franchises.
No, I definitely agree, right? And I've had this conversation with a few people. I know Reese specifically, him and I have had this conversation. And it's funny, I'll open with this. I was just reading something that Leonardo DiCaprio said to Timothée Chalamet, both two of my favorite actors. Timothée Chalamet's coming up. Leonardo DiCaprio's already cemented for me. But Leonardo DiCaprio put his arm around Timothy Chalamet and said, "Hey, I have two things for you coming into to Hollywood. Don't do hard drugs. Don't do superhero movies. That's it, right?" Timothy Chalamet didn't give anything beyond that after saying that. But I see what Leo meant, right? Like superhero movies kind of pigeonhole you or have the potential to pigeonhole you into this thing that people only know you as. I think a primary example of that is Robert Downey Jr. fucking exemplifies Tony Stark and Iron Man. Robert Downey Jr. maybe did one movie, I think, outside of Iron Man, and I think that was his new Dr. Dolittle. That motherfucker went to the pooper. It did not do well. He did an accident. There's a lot of things that I think went wrong with that movie, but...
You saw it?
No, I haven't seen it. But that's why I haven't seen it, because I heard such bad reviews about it.
Well, I mean, personally, if it ain't Eddie Murphy, I ain't seen no damn Dr. Dolittle.
Yeah. Yeah, you get our respect. This is a black podcast, goddamn it. But, yeah, I think to your point of saying, like, superhero fatigue, fucking right? Like, we don't get movies like romantic comedies. Like, when have we gotten a romantic comedy that's, like, a blockbuster in the theater right now? Like, I don't want to go to the movies and always think, like, for it to be good or for me to sit down in the theater seat, I have to watch a fucking superhero movie.
And I get it because it's trendy.
It's trendy, but
it's crazy because like these.
But we were at it at its inception. At this point, we're adults. Like, we were there when the first Avengers came out. We were there when Iron Man came out, and I think we're beyond it. We're beyond it at this point.
Yeah, it's interesting because I forgot what was the guy's name, but he was like superhero movies, or I think he said specifically the MCU was like killing.
I think that was Martin Scorsese
and director. People were like, "Yo, like shut the hell up," and at the time, like I wasn't like shut the hell up. I was at the time I didn't quite get what he meant, but then as I started to think about it, I was just like, and I started to see the reaction, like do you hear people talking about Bullet Train?
That's that movie. That's a zombie movie, right?
No. I said,
I know.
Yeah, the movie with Brad Pitt, where it's like all this set, but that movie is like uniquely edited, like really fucking amazing. Yeah. Not getting nowhere near the amount of buzz is this shit, and it's just like,
and that's unfair, But I think that superhero movies or superhero shows, superhero whatever, at this point, it has its thing. It's going to be here. I disagree with one thing that Spielberg said once. I think Spielberg called it a fad. He said, "Oh, this is going to be here."
I agree. It's not a fad.
I don't think it's a fad. I think it's its own thing. And at this point, we have just gotten the typical thing that people do when something comes out is that it gets overused. It gets abused, right? We saw Battle Royale. That shit got abused in games and shit like that. And superheroes shit is the exact same way. And we're beyond it at this point. Like, we need those romantic comedies, right? We need those horror movies. We need those suspense movies. We need the mystery movies.
The thrillers.
And I don't need them under the guise of a superhero movie. I don't need, like, sure, those are cool, right? A superhero mystery movie or something like that. But I don't always need that, right? I don't want the uniform. I don't want the cape. I want a story. I want, like, more.
No larger, like, not connected to his larger franchises or this.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be, right? Like, I want the thing where where it can be its own thing at this point. I don't need we don't need anything that's like, we have our locked in movies. We have our differences, right? We have the things that make it better, like The Boys, which is a different take on superheroes. Invincible, which is a better take on superheroes. Like, I like those more because they stray away from the cookie cutter shit.
And it's crazy because I know Invincible is good. I have had zero interest to watch it because of all the superheroes.
Because all the superheroes.
Like, same thing with The Boys. Know it's good. It's good. It's like, bro, I'm tired. Like, I'm tired. Like,
yeah. I don't even think that I don't even think you're the odd man out or the minority in the sense when it comes to superhero fatigue, right? Like, superhero movie fatigue. I think that's just the space that we're in. I think that we've gotten so many shows, so many movies, so many games, so many everything, like, to the point where it isn't as special as it once was. And we need to get back to some of the more unique things, more unique stories.
Same thing with Guardians of the Galaxy, like the game. Like, I'm probably gonna get it on PC and play through it, but it's just like I started it on PlayStation 5, and it's a very good game. Yeah, like, really good game. And it's just like I just had no desire to like go deeper or keep playing it for a significant amount of time. So it's just like, oh, it's Guardians of the Galaxy. It's like, oh yeah, I know like Star-Lord. Like I'm all like,
yeah. Like, and then one thing you also have to kind of think about when it comes to like these superhero games, movies, and shows is sometimes you have different iterations of it.
Yeah.
How many fucking iterations of Batman have we gotten? Like, I love Batman. I love that shit, right? Like, how many different iterations are we going to get of different Spider-Man, right? Like, and these are the big boys that I'm talking about. We're talking about the Spider-Man. We're talking about Batman. We're getting multiple iterations from games to shows to movies. And it's like,
just lock one in. Just lock one in.
Either lock one in, bro, or just like give me a break for a little bit.
Or just like I think that they're gonna have to make another Batman. I'm pretty sure because like you can't have like the Matt Reeves Batman in a interacting universe with like Superman exists because it's too grounded, and it's just like
at this point, and this is probably why things like the Batman and Joker probably felt good to people, right? And they got better reviews than I think what else DC has done. And this is not a DC Marvel conversation, but I think those movies got better reviews is because they felt more
genuine.
Yeah, they felt more unique. They felt more like they stood out. They felt more story driven than collective, right? Like they didn't feel like. And also on the take of Batman, I just want to say we're going to talk about Batman. You're going to make a superhero movie regardless. Yo, give me a dark, gritty Batman. Make everything else actual. Like, give me a funny Riddler. Give me a wacky shit. Like, I want to be able to see a Batman that has like some parallels to his character, right?
Put a Clayface in that motherfucker. I would love.
Yeah,
to
like
see
give me some shit. Like, what's that fucking guy whose name who just like had a random ass power? Like fucking what was his name? Like Plastic Man or some shit. Yeah, that guy. Like, give me some shit like that.
Like, you couldn't introduce him like in the main. Like, you couldn't introduce him in a solo movie. He'd have to be like team up with someone else. Or like, but it'd be pretty nice to have him. Like, it'd be like, you know how the rock guy is on the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Korg.
Yeah,
Korg.
Which let's give my baby a door, but like,
yeah,
it'd like, it wouldn't be to that extent, but he'd have to be like a character that starts out like that before they just be like, hey, this guy's funny.
I think that's why something like Suicide Squad also did well, right? Yeah. Because it was like, okay, we switched some shit up. Like we did some characters that no people really give a fuck about, and we made a story that was just kind of like a unique one. It was just like, even though we created a Suicide Squad before, it's just unique, more unique story.
But by the way, I lost all hope in Warner Brothers at this point.
Why?
So you heard about the Discovery merger?
Oh yeah.
How they can't even outside of DC, like they cancel like shows like original content that were good on HBO. Like,
I was so worried about Young Justice, dude.
So like they haven't renewed it, but right now they said that they only ordered one additional season and they haven't ordered another season yet. So it's like, bro, what are you guys doing? They like a show like called Close Enough. They took that off. Like it was their content. They took it off.
Bro, I heard that they put like fucking $90 million into Batgirl. And they had like fucking Michael Keaton starring in his version of Batman. They canceled that shit. Yeah. I was like, bro, what do we like for what are we doing this for? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
it's no direction. It's like about that too. Like they also, the only reason Blue Beetle was saved because it was moved from HBO Max release to theatrical release. And I was just like, yo, what are you guys doing? And then they tried to have a guy that I think worked under Kevin Feige. Yeah. I forget his name, something Lynn something, to be their Kevin Feige. But then he stepped down because they couldn't reach an agreement. And it's just like, bro, what do you guys like?
Sometimes it feels like they do shit just to say fuck nerds. Like this shit, bro. We don't like. What is the reason for us? Like, I get it. It's a merger and you start cutting corners and you start cutting different sections of certain companies when you merge and shit.
Tax
write-offs. I was just got to say, like, you do a $90 million movie, write that shit off as taxes and say, oh, yeah, we did all of that. But, like, that shit is gone. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's the people who are valuing the entertainment are getting the short end of the stick, obviously, because they're just cutting shows and movies that people were anticipating, people have shot, people have spent time in, all because, you know, this is a big money play. It's
so stupid. It's so stupid.
It's so stupid. And I don't know what comes of it, to be honest with you.
It's just like, bro, in the like in the amount, like if DC has all their rights to their people. If they were put the amount of time that the MCU put into building their universe, like, and honestly, I personally like the stories of DC better. They would shit on MCU like 100%. Like we've had this conversation before, but
if they utilize this shit,
but right. They like if they would have started doing this shit when at the same time Marvel would have, and by now DC would have just been solidified,
or if they more so took their time, like they jumped into Darkseid and shit.
Batman vs Superman was which that's their fault of giving
Batman vs Superman way too soon. We didn't even get Henry Cavill to really do his part as Superman, which I'm still salty about. Yeah, it was Ben Affleck was the perfect Batman. We really didn't need to see him go too soon. Like,
we didn't need to have him so old as fuck it in the story.
Like, I mean, like even if you did, bro, that Ben Affleck Batman was fucking raw. Oh my god, that guy was a beast. Yeah. He was a beast. But yeah, DC made a lot of missteps. And it's kind of fucked up that they made so many missteps. It's all the way to the point where people are saying, we're fucking tired of superhero movies. Like, they made so many missteps and shit that I think that to some degree they may have added into the slump where people just like, you know what, bro? This is not a good fucking superhero movie.
And even Marvel was getting like...
Marvel
is just like not even like story-wise. It's just like it's getting to the point where just like, yeah, this CGI, I'm done. Just release it.
Yeah, right? Like, I haven't seen Thor Love and Thunder, but yet, still, which is pretty telling. But I heard they had a really bad scene in there with some CGI.
And it's like stuff like She-Hulk, like, just get a buff woman and just like put some paint on her, bro. Like, and just touch it up with CGI.
Yeah. Let's like even bring it to that. Like, I'm an advocate of more practical, right?
Yeah, practical effects.
Like, please give me more practical. Even if you mix in a little CGI with it, that's fine. But I think things that still do a good job at it, one that I can think of just off the top of my head, Mandalorian does an expert job of mixing in the CGI with some practical. And Star Wars has always kind of done that, but they do a great job of like saying, oh, that looks like if I fucking were in front of that guy and touched him, I can feel like how slimy his skin is or some shit. Like give that. Like give that feeling of like, oh, this is not just like one of my main issues of MCU has always been how Iron Man's suit progressively, in my opinion, got worse.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, bro, I'm looking at his fucking head just bobble a little bit, like with the CGI moving. It's like so slight that you'll see like his head is like floating over like a little suit, and it's just it's lazy. It's lazy.
Like Iron Man 1 and 3 were like effects wise, like some of the MCU's best.
Bro, it still holds up.
Yeah,
still holds up. And to that point, like I know that we are getting to the point where things are, you know, it becomes big business and you just kind of have to get things out. So the quicker the better, and CGI is obviously quick now, but maybe that's the lesson that we need to learn as society right now, right? Like maybe we need to take a breath. We need to take a break. We need to relax a little bit, slow down, start appreciating things just a little bit more. So we can have better value in almost everything that we're witnessing, right? We can have a greater appreciation for anything we get, especially in the entertainment sense. That goes with games, that goes with movies, that goes with shows. That goes back to one of my main issues with Vanguard, right? Call of Duty Vanguard. I felt it was rushed. It felt like it was a little sloppily done. Same with Dying Light Dying Light 2. Yeah. It just felt like a little bit, well, let's slow it down a little bit. Let's take our time, be patient a little bit. Let's, maybe the money gets a little funny, in how we're doing it this way, but we are preserving the art a little bit better.
Did you see that article that released about the VXX forgive me what I'm saying, VFX, I believe, the visual effects artists.
Yeah.
That worked within the MCU like past, and they were just saying like they're overworked, like the hours are terrible.
Oh really? Wow.
Yeah, and it was just saying like in the article they were saying like even like if they give them an unreasonable deadline or if they give them something that's not practical, people like the companies are so scared to like say no, we need this time or no, we need this, because if you lose Marvel as a client, that's a pretty big client. And they'll just go to someone else who's not giving them that lip.
Yeah, and fuck, I would hate to be in a position like that, right? Like fuck that. I would hate to be in a position where it's like, yo, I gotta push this content out, or I have to make this thing, make this CGI, but like and that's just the world we're in, but I wish we didn't have to do that so much, because it's like, it's kind of like fast food. It's like microwave food. It's like, that's what we're getting. We're not getting a slow home cooked meal. Like we just aren't getting that anymore, but I don't necessarily know the fix, right? Because I'm sure big companies will always say, well, if you want practical, well, that shit costs money. And practical is going to cost this and more time and labor, and you got deadlines to meet and this, but like,
bro, the amount of like, okay, so this is what I would do if I was like at this point, like Disney, MCU, Marvel, they have a built franchise where they see them people are gonna go see it. I would like a good amount of their money outside of paying the actors is spent on fucking marketing.
Yeah,
if you can take some of that money out of marketing to spend more on practical effects, you already spend. They're spending, I'm pretty sure, a shit ton of money anyway.
Yeah, they're spending a shit ton
on visual effects anyway.
Yeah.
You can keep a lot of the props and a lot of the like for the physical props, you can reuse a lot of it and modify it. That's what they did, back in the day. You can use lighting, you can use, it's like ways to get around that.
And like, I can watch movies now because I've been watching a lot of older movies, just kind of just catching up. Just because Reese wants me to watch a lot of old movies, but I'm okay with that, because my appreciation for watching these older movies, I'm learning like, oh shit, like this practical effect, like I'm loving the practical effects, right? Like if something even looks fake, I'm like, oh, but that's real. Like the actor is actually looking at this fucking rubber toy come out of this. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a better experience for me than just like someone just having to stare at a fucking green screen and shit. Yeah. Like I don't like when they show like the behind the scenes and they're like, oh yeah, all that shit you saw in the background, not there. Yeah. Like nothing. Like not one of it actually. Like nothing. And it's like, fuck. Like
the only time it's acceptable is like in something like Godzilla, like bro, you can't fucking.
Yeah. Like
I mean they let me say they did.
Yeah, I mean put the shit like where it needs to be, but don't saturate the market. And that's what I think we're seeing a lot of, and it's to the detriment of us. It's to the detriment of the audience. And fuck, that fucking sucks. Yeah. But
I think this is a pretty good episode, honestly.
Yeah. I feel like if any big companies watch this shit, they wouldn't give us any advertisement. I think we shit on quite a few companies in this instance. Here, but we're still open to ads. So if we ever get to that point, we won't talk shit about your company. Swear, we'll honestly be good. We're the Geek Goonz. We're good guys.
I think a good takeaway, I guess, from this episode is don't oversaturate your audience with the things they love, because they eventually become to hate it if you do that.
Yeah. Like what's that saying? Everything's done in moderation. I mean, things are done best in moderation, right? So you take your times and your breaks, and don't abuse some shit. You get to appreciate it more. You like, fuck it. I'll make a little joke at the end of the podcast. If you fuck every single day, I'm talking about every single day, like constantly throughout the day, damn near. You would get tired of fucking. I ain't gonna lie. I've done that before. That's what I'm saying. You're like, I'm getting tired of fucking. Like, my dick is tired. Like, that guy's tired. Yeah, I'm tired, right? Like, at that point, like, you don't even want to think of pussy.
It's like if you ate birthday cake every day.
No, you don't want to eat birthday cake every fucking day. Like,
oh, happy birthday. Like,
get that shit out of my face, right? Like, exactly. So, yeah. Hey, big companies, don't fuck us every day. That's how I want to end that. This has been Geek Goonz.